So today, class, we're going to be learning about speciation. Now, speciation is the process of creating new species from pre-existing ones. Now, first, before we can move on and learn more, we have to know what a species is. It's hard to really define a species, and many scientists can argue over how they would define it. The best way is to define it as a group of organisms that all share the same characteristics and traits. Now, the main cause of speciation is reproductive isolation, which is the inability to continue to produce a species or your species, which is different from extinction, because extinction is when you fail to produce. But with reproductive isolation, what does happen is that species can interbreed with other species to create hybrids, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But the main causes of reproductive isolation come from the mating time or behavior, the geography, such as where you live and what kinds of ecological or geographical barriers that separate you. Your ecological niche, which is the role that you play in your environment, and it's what you do. Hybridization, which I said I'd get to, is when you interbreed with other species and form new ones. That can cause speciation because you're taking two pre-existing species and you're having them combine together to make an offspring that has a combination of those characteristics, forming a whole new species. And that will continue and go on until thousands and thousands of new species are going to be formed. Next, you have extinction, which is the process of a species failing to reproduce and to create more descendants, and no one is left. Now, when extinction happens, the whole ecosystem is affected, because let's say that it was a pack or a certain type of wolf that went extinct, and they prey on rabbits. Well, then the population of rabbits will increase. And then after that, they'll need more food to feed the greater numbers. And the food will decrease, and eventually they will lose food. And eventually they will begin to die off. And before they go extinct, they will have to interbreed and hybrid with other species that they have to share similar characteristics. A rabbit and a bird cannot have an offspring together and have a flying rabbit. It has to be something with the similar characteristics. They have to be very close species. And so those are all the causes of reproductive isolation. And like I said before, reproductive isolation causes speciation. And that is why we have so many new species and so many species that look like other species around, like the finches in the Galapagos Islands. They all supposedly came from a common descendant, one type of finch. But over time, what happened is they got separated by an ecological barrier. Say mountains came up, or just really anything. And so they had to, so the different groups of finches broke off, and they formed new species, such as one with, say, bigger beaks to crack open nuts so they can get food from nuts, or longer beaks to pick out food from flowers or from hard-to-reach places. So they formed new species based off the existing finch to better survive in their new environment.